All right, just real quick. This is kind of a little video on pet peeves of bushcraft videos. I'm not saying I do things better or, anything like that. In fact, if there's something super annoying about my videos that you hate, please let me know in the comments below. I mean, we all get triggered by different things. Be the sound of a person's voice, the way they look, whatever. Those are two examples of things that people can't change. But my pet peeve about so many bushcraft videos, and I've only seen a couple because I only have to. It's a tale of a man, generally, who goes out and starts a fire, probably with, ferro rod and his feather stick. Now, a feather stick is when you carve down and you make all those nice little turnings that comes up, and then, I mean, there's 10,000 things that start a fire better than that, and there's 10,000 more different ways to do it that's more practical and better, unless that's some really dry heartwood and everything in the bush is soaking wet. So that's how I had to carve down and to get a feather stick. Come here, bud. Come here. Also, I think ferro rods are cheating. In fact, I even think flint and steel is kind of cheating, because in order to have high carbon steel to create a spark, that's pretty extreme technology to have high carbon steel. Obviously, I prefer a little more Stone Age stuff, but that's just me. Obviously, a ferro rod is more, can be used so many times over and over, and in wet conditions and blah blah blah. So that's great. But my biggest pet peeve, other than that, is, these guys generally, I don't think I've seen a girl do it, but they walk out with they start a fire, they spend the night in the woods, and then they fry up a steak and some fresh vegetables that they brought with them on their fancy, whatever, little cookware. Now that's fine too. I mean, I can't believe how many views and watches it gets. Maybe it's sort of like a relaxing thing. But then, the kicker for me is the cup of tea, okay? It's a cup of tea for their wooden cup, their hand-carved wooden cup that's dangling off their backpack in the thumbnail for the video. That part drives me nuts. I'm gonna show you guys how to make a wooden cup that you can be proud to hang on your backpack, and we're gonna do that right now. Aren't we, Finnegan? Is that the list of our pet peeves? That's pretty much it. Probably more if I thought about it. And again, I'm not trying to say so much that, the stuff I'm doing is cooler. I just don't really get it. Comment below if you know why going out in the woods, starting a fire, spending the night there, cooking up a fancy cut of meat and some fresh vegetables, nothing that was around you or anything. Tell me why that enthralls so many viewers. Okay, so the first thing, if you're going to make a wooden cup, is you want to find yourself an old aspen tree like this, and you see this really nice knob. See it, Finn? So most of these, where they come out, there's a knot, right, where a branch came out. But often enough, more often than enough, you can find a nice one that's totally sealed. There's no knot that comes out. If there was a knot that comes out, that's okay. You could put a fresh plug of a piece of wood in there, and when the cup's wet, it'll swell up and it'll be good. So all you actually have to do, this is a rotten log, right? Which is even better. Again, generally aspen, sometimes cottonwood. This isn't rocket science. We're going to cut this out of here. The inside's going to be rotten. It has a hard external shell. And then we have a cup. We could even keep a handle on there. Could be a soup ladle. Let's see what we can do. You could smash it out with an axe. I'm going to saw it out in this case, just because. You're going to start seeing these all over the place now. And you're going to say, why didn't I think of that? Well, I don't know. It's a human consciousness connected hive mind anyway, like we thought of it. Okay, I want the handle to come back. Well, I mean, is it a cup or is it a ladle, Eric? Let's keep it a cup. Doing anything with the left hand is tricky if you're right-handed and vice versa. Try brushing your teeth sometime with your left hand. Or anything for that matter. Okay, so this always happens. There's this rottenness in there, which is wonderful. That knot was coming and it couldn't pierce the bark. You could save this stuff, beautiful punk wood, if you wanted to dry it out and catch a spark instead of a stupid feather stick. See where this is going? I think you do. This one's big enough to be your bowl and your cup. Good enough to be your bush vessel. So it doesn't need a whole lot more explanation, right? I'm going to carve this into a nice little cup, and you've got yourself a cup you can be proud of, or a ladle, or a soup bowl. Now, you can't cook in this, but having a vessel is becomes very obvious that it's extremely important when you don't have one. This will allow you to drink some hot beverage. Worst case scenario, you take some little rocks and you heat them up in your fire, and you put them in here with your water and you let the rocks heat the water. Cooking that way is pretty marginal, especially if you're trying to kill any bacteria or anything. I mean, you can get hot water, no doubt about that, and this will still be safe and fine. But you're not going to be cooking, some grouse leg to tender. You can roast it. Then you can put it in here and carry on. Okay, well, that's the crude basics of it. You can make yourself some nice tender birch leaf tea. It's good for you. Oh, but wait, you can't cook in this, right? You can make tea in this. Get yourself some nice little stones, put them in the fire, put them in here with some water, put in your tea, make tea, enjoy tea. Hey Fin Fin. Hey buds. So I just finished making that wooden cup video slash pet peeves about bushcrafting videos. And I was walking around this swamp because I wanted to find some diamond willow. And lo and behold, they're way up there, but those are some of the, well, that lower one is like probably the second biggest one I've ever seen. I just love how the mushroom stuff talks to you. I drove past here. Oh, there's another one way up in there, just starting. It's good. You can take two and leave one. But anyways, so I drove past. I was feeling lazy. I was feeling tired. I'm like, hey man, there's a little swamp there. You should hike around it. Finnegan, he doesn't really want to hike anymore. And then I made that little cup video, which maybe I'll put a link down below. It's about pet peeves and of bushcraft videos and how to make a proper wooden cup. So you're not like got one of those Etsy hand-carved cups hanging off your backpack. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I stopped, I backed up, I hummed and hawed, I went forward, I backed up again, and I said, look, just go do it. And I got out here, didn't bring the rifle, too lazy, and now I'm going to climb this tree. This is freaking awesome. Look at these guys. Whoops. Switch the camera for it. Look at these nuggets. Okay, stand by while I set up the tripod, the old tripod. Okay, we've got the camera set up. Now we're going to get up this guy. Bushcraft skill number one. Don't do stuff like this when you're by yourself in the woods. Okay, that went fairly well. Here we are. This stem is totally dead and rotten. I just see that one other tiny one starting right in there. We'll take two. Sometimes they come off nice. You karate chop them just right. This is a thing of beauty. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. So nice. So grateful. Ooh, this one smells so good. This one. One's going to require a knife. There we go. Beauty, beauty. Well, see, that was worth the stop right there, Finn. It was worth it. Now, if you don't know what diamond willow fungus is, I'll put a link in the lower video. But this is a very wonderful, amazing, anise, like licorice smelling spiritual mushroom. It's used for smudging. This is big medicine.